What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's dive straight into things. So it's been a while since I've been in the charts, nearly a week now, and yesterday was a bank holiday, so I wasn't in the charts. However, we're back, and it does look like a lot has already started to happen this week. And yeah, we're going to start on the monthly on dollar, and mainly what I have my eyes set on, generally speaking, is this consolidation down here. I'm looking for dollar to eventually reach down into this range. So my draw on liquidity on the high time frame is definitely down here. And then if we drop down to the weekly, you can see that price has already started off quite interestingly. We ran out some lows from last week, not from last week, from a few weeks ago, sorry. And then we've also, and then last week we did have this huge displacement to the downside, running out these two up close candles, which make these bearish order blocks. So as far as I'm concerned, the highest I want to see price trade will be this level right here. That should be a bearish order block. And then the lowest I'd want to see price trade is going to be looking into these lows to potentially trade down into that. So I'm going to mark this out as sell side liquidity for the week. And if we're going to have a down close week, which is what I'm anticipating, then we're already on the right track in terms of having up close days on Tuesday and Monday, filling in this fair value gap. I'm happy to see continued rallying, but overall I'm looking to find a nice reversal moving into tomorrow, Wednesday, and into Thursday. That can hopefully start to push price to turn around and then trade on lower. So as far as I'm concerned, so long as we continue to respect this 50% level tomorrow, I'm happy to remain bearish, and then I'd want to see us start to run towards this sell side liquidity. We also do have a breaker here. We've got high, low, high, low, higher, high, and then same here, this down close candle, which lines up nicely with that bearish order block. So there is reason that's why we anticipate price to trade up into this range. However, like I said, I'm looking and actively anticipating displacement to the downside away from it. So we do have a nice fair value gap up here lined up with the 50% level. That might be a nice premium target for price moving into Wednesday and Thursday, sorry. So let's get that marked out in red, as we may want to try and fill it. And if price fails to fill it, we may find that price just falls off and starts trading lower instantly, which would be even more ideal, because that would show heavy bearishness and we can start thinking about these lows and again this sell side liquidity pull down here. But yeah, very interesting nonetheless. Here's the 1 hour, not really much. You can see that price expanded today on Tuesday. Again, we expect price to expand to the opposite direction to which we anticipate most of the expansion. So we want to see some kind of Judas swing, which is when price goes against our anticipated expectation, which is what it's doing now, trading higher with the expectation that moving into later in the week, Wednesday, we've got FOMC minutes, and then we've got high impact news on Thursday and Friday as well. On the back of that, price should be able to continue lower. So I'm going to wait for us to hit a bit more of a premium. This is our current trading range. This is the high, this is the low. We just ran above the 50% level. So it'll be nice to see if we can tap that 75% level. That would set me up nicely. And then I'd anticipate price to be able to reverse the back of it. If it manages to trade through this range, whole different story. And we'll probably start rallying and filling up gaps, such as this gap right here. And it's the premium. It's just that ideally price will struggle once it gets up here and we'll find high resistance. So that's everything on dollar. I hope that will make sense. Hopefully we can go into more detail tomorrow, but generally speaking, I'm just looking for us to tap into this before looking for any setups. GBP USD, you can see price has rallied right through, very aggressively bullish. We'll start on the weekly here as well. And excuse my voice, guys, I had a busy bank holiday. And you can see we have some buy side liquidity up here that hasn't yet been tapped into, relatively high, so I'm looking for price to be running those eventually. And then we have all of these highs up here as well, with a nice fair value gap on the weekly up here. So there is, imbalances in the premium up here for price to want to potentially trade up into. Now what you'll find is that pound is more bullish, is currently bullish, it's taken out highs, whereas dollar hasn't yet done that. So we might find it struggles a little bit, but nonetheless, that's reflective of what we want to see happening on euro as well, because euro hasn't yet taken out any highs, so that's something to take into consideration. But to help us with that, we do want to look at this last up close candle before this down move. And the reason for that is that should act as a breaker. So this is going to be the lowest I want to see price trade for me to remain bullish. We'll drop down to the 4 hour and we should be able to find some PD arrays. You can see this little fair value gap down there that price may want to tap into, but ideally I'd like to think it can come out. It's just that it is a very deep discount for price to get down into there, but I am anticipating that we are going to trade down into that in line with dollar continuing to rally a little bit first. So it's not going to be on the dime that it turns, but I am anticipating that price is going to pull back into this consolidation and then maybe struggle to trade on higher later once euro does get that expansion it needs. But yeah, very interesting day. Displacement right here, broke lower, came up, fair value gap, go short, and then we have some, like I said, lows below here that I do very much expect price to run moving into tomorrow, either morning or in the Asia session. So it's either going to be the London session that these lows get taken out, or it's going to be the Asia session that we see that get traded into. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense. Should be an interesting day tomorrow, but that seems like a nice easy setup right there. And then depending on how we react to this level, which I just marked out from the weekly or daily, that's going to tell us a lot as to whether we can comfortably go along and hold on for the rest of the week as we're moving into Thursday, Friday with all that high impact news. So we are going to finish up on Euro USD. We'll start here on the weekly as well. And you'll see that price again, very interesting start to the week. But if we want to see an up close candle, which I do, and I'm looking for price to eventually try and run out these buy stops, because on the higher time frames I'm bullish. That means that I'm happy for price to drop to some extent. So last week we created this bullish order block right here, so I'd like to think price can, ideally it doesn't. If it fails to get down there, that shows bullishness. The deeper it is, the more hard it is for it to get back out of the dirt, basically, is what I'm saying. We do have this bullish order block we're playing around in, and we do have a little breaker here, low, high, lower, low. So as we drop down to the low time frames, we might be able to find something around that range that price may want to find support in. So I am going to be paying close attention to this fair value gap right here on the 4 hour. That should be very significant. I anticipate price straight into that. Then depending on how we treat it, price, like I said, may come out of it, and then we can start thinking about these beautiful relative equal highs we have forming above here for price to take in line with dollar, ideally reversing within inside that range that I just marked out a little bit ago. So we'll go to the 1 hour real quick. Not really much more. Again, beautiful stops I anticipate getting taken. I'd like to think that this can stay this low. If that can stay intact, I'm happy with that. And then again, I'd want this buy side to get liquidity to get taken on Thursday or Friday, but we'll talk more on that tomorrow after we've traded. And then yeah, that's pretty much everything. So I hope that all makes sense. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.